2013 Formula One drivers whose names make them sound like they should be Scousers. Number 1.
David Valsecchi.
That's it.
Hello and welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed, the first episode for 2013 featuring all three of us. All three of us being me, Gareth, him Zog,
hello,
and him Richard.
Hello.
Are you excited, gentlemen, at the prospect of this 2013 season already?
Oh yes, always excited, looking forward to the new season.
Have you seen any of the launches though?
Actually, I haven't, no, I haven't caught any of the launches, so you're going to have to tell me about that. But excited though I am, there's also a bit of trepidation because I'm not sure how well Lotus is going to go at Mercedes.
It's a worry,
and I want to see Lewis going well.
Well, we'll get to how Lewis has gone so far in a bit, but Richard, you've been following some of the launches as well, haven't you?
I watched McLaren live and Ferrari not live.
Yeah.
That's about it, actually. I've just been playing catch-up on the internet, which is where, essentially, they've all chosen to launch their cars anyway.
Yeah. Well, since terrorists have been hiding out on the internet, which is what George Bush once said,
yes,
Formula One is now hiding out on the internet. Well, in the case of Mercedes, because the Mercedes team failed to make their internet launch or their internet preview happen. There was this whole complex thing whereby if you tweeted with the hashtag, what was it?
I think it was, wasn't it F1W04
That's
reveal?
That a garage would open on their website revealing a poorly lit version of the new car.
Yeah.
But that didn't work, did it? They failed miserably, and they
well, because there wasn't enough tweeting action to kind of raise the
website just crashed.
Oh, really? Like the Croft,
In fact,
like
actually...
that Tate Modern's Croftwreck site that crashed, so I couldn't buy the tickets for the Croftwreck gigs that are happening this week, and I'm still.
Which is the more painful?
It's my belief that nobody has Kraftwerk tickets because I don't know anyone who's got.
Not even Kraftwerk themselves.
Well, this is what worries me.
We know several people who tried to buy tickets and couldn't buy tickets, you know.
I think it's a whole conceptual art piece and they're going to play to an empty room. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but it might be on the internet, because everything's on the internet these days, including Formula One launches.
See how I brought that back around. I was only half a sentence behind
now,
you.
This Mercedes virtual garage door opening to reveal a virtual car.
You didn't interfere with that, Richard, did you?
Well, you see, I discovered what was going on, and on Sunday morning I was a little bit bored, and so I thought, well, there's this hashtag, and you're supposed to use it when you tweet, and then your tweet may appear on the Mercedes homepage beneath the virtual garage door. And I thought, well...
That's a good idea.
Is it a good idea, though? Because there's no reason for your actual tweet to be pertaining to the car. Only the hashtag needs to be there.
With these kind of things, you know, it's always risky when you throw these things out to the public, and basically, it's basically a risk when you get the public too involved in your launch and your kind of PR activities.
Particularly the Sniff Petrol Twitter stream.
You know, basically, you've got to encourage people to do it, and you've got to give them the right incentive.
You have,
and you've got to, and you have to not give them away that they can screw it up for you.
And what did you do?
You have to protect your ingenious marketing effort against. And I'm describing myself here. You have to protect it against bell ends.
Yeah.
Because what I did was...
Slightly drunk people.
No, this was Sunday morning, and I promise I hadn't touched a drop. But No, not even that. I just thought, I wonder...
And what did you tweet?
Well, I thought, I'll try this out. I'll use the hashtag, but what if I did something terribly inappropriate, which would then look strange if it was on there?
What, like?
No, I thought there must be a rude word filter. So my opening salvo was I just put, oh my God, I think this hooker's dead. Hashtag F1W04 reveal. And lo and behold, it appeared on their homepage.
And so, where did you go after that?
I can't remember where I went after that.
Help, I'm locked in a garage in Austria, please let me out.
No, not Austria, come on, that is just too close to the bone. I'm trapped in a garage in Brackley. So please send help.
You demonstrated exactly why those kind of PR initiatives are.
I was going to do Ross Brawn's mobile number is this, and then put up a fake number. But the trouble is, there is an Ofcom list of dud numbers that I use for television, but I couldn't remember where it is, and I didn't want to put up a random number that I just thought of, and then it turns out it's really someone's mobile number, but not Ross Brawn, and loads of people are ringing them. But the thing was, I did this. I went, okay, well, I've satisfactorily been a bit of a dick about this.
You photobombed it, basically.
A bit like that. And then I went off on a walk with the dog. I went up to Hampstead Heath and took the dog for a walk, and I came back, and lots of other people who follow me on Twitter or who had seen this going on had embraced it with gusto, so that for a period it seemed most of the tweets that were appearing below the virtual and, as it turned out, jammed garage door were just utter drivel.
You'd set a bad example, basically.
Yes,
and
essentially.
everyone would follow.
I'm the kind of kid at school that your mum says, don't hang around with him anymore, he's a bad influence.
You were in the school photo twice, weren't you? And the second time you were flicking the V's. You were. So the Mercedes launch was not without difficulty, but the McLaren launch, to be fair, went better than most of the reliability of their last season. It was great.
They usually do things very well.
They started
Except
with,
last year, building a reliable car.
Sure enough, I blame Sam Michael. What?
come
They
on.
started with Natalie Pinkham hosting.
What?
Natalie Pinkham.
Why are you doing that?
Are you being dirty about...
I wouldn't dream of saying anything about lovely Natalie Pinkham. She's lovely. She did a fierce job hosting the thing. She was gorgeous. She
Did
was
you just say
confident.
fierce?
Fierce, yeah.
All right, Beyonce, what are you fierce?
I mimed the word fierce
Honestly,
there. Like
what?
Beyonce.
Yeah.
But she was top. Sorry.
No, that's all right. You can say the top.
Dig yourself a little bit deeper.
Yes,
Come on,
help me now.
Keep going.
So, Natalie,
Yeah.
unusual noise Pinkham.
Yeah.
Still don't know what you mean there. Have a guess.
lovely.
Possibly one for after the microphone's off.
Really confident, lovely performance, and then she started introducing a bit of McLaren's history. First of all, they had this film about Bruce McLaren shot at Goodwood, where, of course, McLaren had a rather unfortunate end.
yeah.
And they almost had like the ghost of Bruce McLaren walking with a limp away from camera, back of the head, and his thoughts. It was really beautifully done. And then they followed that with this heritage display of McLarens, which were driven around the McLaren Technical Centre's
Lake.
swimming pool, I was going to say. You're right. Lake, the shallow lake. And then in through the doors and into the presentation, as it were, on the stage, in between Natalie Pinkham and the audience. And it just got better and better. You know, they had James Hunt's McLaren there, they had Senna's McLaren there. And then finally, Button and Perez arrived. Perez arrives in an orange MP4 12C convertible. And then Button arrives in the new P1, still in the disguised black and white colour thing. It was proper theatre. And then, unfortunately, the reveal of the car was a massive disappointment, because it just looks like last year's
Well,
car.
some of it is, isn't it? The front wing is from last year's car.
Yeah.
That's not the finished wing.
Yeah.
It was on a plinthy sort of thing. Did you see this? It's
They
on a,
do
sort of,
that.
on a slant, which
Yeah.
is fine. So that the people
So you get a better view of it, yeah.
But it just looked a bit unspectacular compared to all that had gone before it, which was, in fairness, really good.
Very good.
Yeah. Do you know also something else I spotted, and I discovered subsequently from one of the F1 journalists who was there, put on Twitter a picture. He was sitting directly behind Ron Dennis himself. So the king of all of OCD was there, and yet I noticed that the logos on the front tyres of the car were not
Were lined
absolutely
up.
top dead centre.
Yeah. There'll be death.
So-
There'll be a death at the
There'll be a
moment for that.
lot
maybe
of
there were,
a lot
maybe
of
there
hand
were-
washing.
So
and
that was
turning
the
around
only
three
Bit of a
times for
rush
that.
to get it all finished, maybe?
Well, they
That
often
seems
are.
like such an elementary error. You go, come on, you could just turn it and there you go.
Well, you'd
I
think.
think
but-
perhaps the wheels are so well balanced that the excessive weight of the word Pirelli written across the top just made that wheel roll over.
Or is it, and I genuinely wondered this, is a modern Formula One wheel and tyre combination so perfectly balanced and so light that even the removing of a silky sheet can cause the wheels to turn slightly?
It could well have been. But if that was the disappointment of the McLaren launch, the fact that the car wasn't as interesting as the P1, you should have seen the Force India launch.
Now this I didn't see.
Because it
Was
contrasted...
it in a lockup? Was it just
It
rubbish?
looked like it was. It was in a
They're still
garage.
busy.
VJ Mallier's lockup.
They're still busy
Sort
looking
of
for a
stuff.
second driver, aren't they? So
Yeah.
maybe they're.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
this is what added to the bleakness, because in the razzmatazz of a car launch, you have the car and the two drivers and the team principal. You know,
Oh,
there's a-
beg your pardon,
Yeah.
I did see the pictures from this of poor Paul de Resta, who is a bleak man at the best of times,
I know.
sitting on his own because he hasn't got a teammate. Everybody else is going, yeah, oh, Jensen Button's going, yeah, my new best mate Sergio. And
It was exactly that.
There's Paul de Resta going, oh, dear.
Yeah, bleak, sitting on that front wheel on his own, and you could actually hear the wind whistling outside. It was like tumbleweed. It was Heartbreaking.
But it's so weird because
Paul di
across
Resta need to
India-
they need to transplant about half of Daniel Ricciardo's enthusiasm and
Yes.
puppyish bounciness.
Well, no. What about
in,
if
you know,
those
it's a-
two? They could make it in some way in the future. Those two are teammates because they'd be the perfect
Oh, yes.
odd couple together. Aussie, no worries, mate. Perma smiling,
Yeah.
happy Daniel Ricciardo
Yeah,
with
Paul di Resta.
Dur-
You just won the race and you've announced your engagement to Miranda Kerr. So why are you still looking like the sky's falling on your head? You know,
Because
But it is
from the
also
east.
it's the Force India thing, you know, and their colour scheme is very bright and
Yeah.
orange, and they sort of have that Indian sense of spectacle and that feeling that at any moment there's sort of a dance routine could break out. And that it's all going on, and yet in the middle of it you've got this sort of colour vacuum of an almost translucent Scotsman who's just going, oh no.
Well, you've got a very
it's
good reason
so
for it, I think,
cool.
because I think Di Resta is now even bleaker than ever now that he realises he's been passed over
Yes.
for Hulkenberg has
Yeah.
got the good drive. But by way of contrast, from the sheer bleakness that was Force India, the glamour of the Ferrari launch was very good. The Ferrari launch was big theatre, camera, top left-hand corner of the room. It looked great. But the cleverest thing about the Ferrari launch, did you see they had the car under a drape at the front of the stage there? And they were projecting images onto the car, and they projected the technology beneath the car, like a schematic diagram, on that cloth. Almost like a flash of X-ray allowed you to
Yeah.
see inside the car. That was...
That's
bizarre.
good.
Red Bull
Good
did actually
theory,
do something
good theory.
similar to that last year. It's
Did
a
they?
relatively new technology, and I've been told by somebody who does that sort of stuff that it's really fiddly to do.
Well,
But it's very clever.
If you're projecting onto a non-flat surface, that all with that gets
And
tricky.
making it all match in, that's the difficult
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
because it's millimetrically precise, I think, to do it well.
So, of all the launches I've seen so far, the Lotus one I barely even remember, I have to say. It just, right, here's the car, goodbye, thank you.
Oh, and they released a picture of a funny steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what's happening
many
with
gags.
Lotus? Yeah, too many gags.
Yeah.
And not that we're ever guilty of trying to do that.
No,
of course.
we wouldn't do that, would we? No.
But, you know, we're not a Formula One team. Just concentrate on trying to make a better car, I think, would be the message. And to the pits now, and the Lotus of Kimi Raikkonen pulls into the box for the first time here in Australia. And, oh my goodness, all the wheels have just fallen off the car. But the wheelgun man, front right, he's still approaching, and, oh dear, brightly coloured rubber snakes are firing out of his gun. And what's this? A series of clowns are now getting into the car one by one and then getting out the other side, which is confusing for onlookers because it is seemingly a very small car. And now two engineers are walking across the pit lane with a pane of glass. This really is a terribly unfunny stop.
Watch out! Sniff Petrol with Gareth Jones on speed!
Actually, I'm slightly caught out this year, guys. I haven't quite got in my head who every driver is in every team, because it's still not completely settled, is it?
Oh, bum!
There's a couple of gaps.
You've got
And
a
there's-
cheat sheet here, and I printed out a cheat sheet of my own.
It's the only way I can
before
keep it in my
came
head,
here,
and I
and I
can't.
left it in the kitchen. The Zog's got it.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
got it, there it
Oh,
is.
there we go,
Cheat
there we go.
sheet.
Yeah, I
Let's go
have it right here.
Okay, we've got Vettel and Webber in
Yeah.
Red Bull. Spare driver Buemi. Did you know that?
Spare driver.
Spare. Yeah. Spare. Keep a spare strapped to the back.
Exactly.
Scuderia Ferrari have got Alonso, let me say it right, and Massa. And they've got Genet, David Rigon, and Pedro de la Rosa.
Hang on, where's David Regan? He's not on my cheat sheet.
Yeah, David Rigon, it was in
No, he's,
Super
official
League Formula,
reserve.
wasn't he? Yeah.
So he's another driver who isn't going to have enough to do, basically.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes. They can afford to have as many drivers who don't do anything as they want. They're Ferrari. Vodafone, McLaren, Mercedes, as we know, Jensen Button, and the wrong driver, Sergio Perez.
Yeah, give him a chance. Here we go.
Yeah, I'd give him a chance.
Yeah.
Should have had Hulkenberg. They've also got Gary Paffett, Oliver Turvey, who I thought was a character that Rick Mayall invented in the 80s. Oliver Turvey from Redditch. It was actually, I think it was called
Kevin
Turvey. Can't separate the
Turley.
Turvey. No, it was Turvey.
Okay.
Yeah, defo.
Defo.
Defo, yeah. Lotus, well, Kimi, of course, and Roman, third chance Grosjean, featuring David Valsecchi, Jerome D'Ambrosio, and Nicolas Prost as the spare three drivers. Mercedes, I say McLaren because one of the drivers is Lewis and Nico is the other one. Nico gets the number 9, Lewis gets the number 10.
I noticed this, yes.
Presumably that's because Nico's keeping his seat and Lewis is the new guy, so there's some convention whereby new guy gets the...
Didn't Schumi insist on having an even number? Nico had to change numbers when Schumi joined.
That's ringing a bell, actually.
He may have swapped back, I forget. I want
to sit there. But I'm sitting here, I want to sit there.
Schumacher. Sauber Ferrari, let us not forget. Nico Hulkenberg, and
Esteban Gutierrez.
I was going to say Gloria, but you beat me to it. Gloria
Esteban Gutierrez.
Gloria. And also Robin Vriends, who's Dutch spare driver. I forgot to mention the spare drivers for Mercedes. Brendan Hartley, mate. And Anthony Davidson.
What?
Yeah, Anthony Davidson is the Mercedes simulator driver. Does their simulator.
Is he going to be doing the simulation in that bachelor flat that he lives in with that massive iPad that you keep seeing on Sky?
I don't think it is a massive iPad. He is so
it is
small.
a real-sized iPad, yes, because he does it with What's a Flap, who's also...
Not huge Georgie.
She's invisible to the naked eye, though, in real life. I mean, they're both tiny people. They're tiny. You know, that's
excuse me, as a slightly less tall... than Richard Porter. I would say they are perfectly proportionate.
No, Zog. They are both under 5 feet tall. They shoot that whole thing. It's a real-sized iPad, and they shoot it all in an old ice cream box.
So he's not exaggerating.
I'll believe it. I'm just saying,
Did you never see that episode
there's
where
nothing
a cat got loose and came
not
in?
being 6'5".
It looked like an attack of a giant.
Well, they both screamed and ran off, and then a maid came by and went, Thomas, and it was all very.
It was like the episode of The Goodies where the cat knocks
On
over
the post office
tower.
Yeah.
Post office tower, I think it was at the time.
We're now dating ourselves, aren't we? Right? What you call that tall thing in London? I think by the time our kids are of an age, they'll be going, "What? You mean the global hyper mega core net tower? What the hell's
the
Facebook
tower?" We've named something now. Right, where were we? Force India, Paul Di Resta, and no one else. Although they've got James Rossiter and Jules Bianchi, and James Rossiter had a spin in the Force India at testing. Williams, who still haven't launched their new car, Pastor Maldonado. Thank you. And Valtteri Bottas, who is filling the Finnish gap in Formula One this year. And they've also got Susie Wolff, my other half, has got nothing to do with Mercedes, Honest, as their spare driver.
Well, yeah, but this is interesting because Toto, hungry like a wolf, has obviously moved to Mercedes now. He's kept his Williams shares, though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
and he's kept his wife driving for them.
Cuckold? What?
I just keep an eye on him. He's got business interests there. You might as well leave someone you trust to keep an eye on things. Susie, what are they up to now? Oh, they're wasting a lot of money on carbon fibre. Tell them to stop! I'd imagine that's how it's going.
Toro Rosso launched their car, which looks about right, actually. I have to say, Jean-Eric Verne, who's pretty good, and Daniel Smiley Ricciardo.
No worries, mate. Yeah,
but curious, Toro Rosso, part of the Red Bull family, no spare drivers listed. And this is the Toro Rosso programme, who've got over 14 million registered drivers.
They're not short of drivers.
Well, I'd imagine it's sort of like playing sport at school. They're just still involved in a kind of picking contest. I'll have
Brendan Hartley.
You there.
Niliani. Ataki Inui. Oh, he's not.
Oh, imagine he's just snuck in at the end.
That'd be great.
The one that never gets picked at the end.
Yeah, I choose him. Okay, Caterham have got Charles Pic, who was at Marussia last year.
Yeah.
And Guido van der Garde.
Another new name.
Yep.
He was a runner-up in GP2 last year. He's all right, Guido. He's all right.
I don't know, I must admit.
But you've got a feel for Heikki Kovalainen, and even, what's his name, the only cannibal in Formula One, Petrov, got a feel for them. Because Petrov wasn't as bad as we all believed, and Heikki's great. But Caterham don't seem to have the cash to have drivers they have to pay anymore, do they? Okay, and finally, Marussia, who've got Luis Razzia as their driver.
And
Chilton.
another British
And
driver.
Max
New British driver in the sport, which is good.
Max, who's brought over 30 quid to the team, I believe.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. And
was 5 seconds slower than the Ferrari in testing today in Jerez. So business as usual for poor old Marussia.
Well, yeah, and then of course you missed out HRT, who don't discount them; it could still happen. I believe their drivers are going to be Taka Inui and Luca Badoa.
That's the team
It's
for
a
us.
dream team.
Excuse me, mate. Spare us some change?
No, I'm sorry. Wait, are you Luca Badoa?
Si, signore, it's me.
Oh, God, are you homeless now?
What?
I mean, I know you are hopeless, but this seems terrible.
No, I'm not the homeless. I just need some money.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to give you any money.
Go on, mate. Just a few quids.
No, I'd love to help you, but this is for your own good. If I give you money now, you'll just spend it on HRT.
Gareth Jones on speed.
I want to announce the winner in our Schumacher competition that we did in the Christmas New Year show in a minute, but a couple of other things first. You know, they announced the Le Mans entry list this week, and did you see this car on there, the Lotus, that is going to be run? I've got a picture of it here to show you, boys.
the P2 car.
Yeah, and apparently this really is a Lotus, right?
It really is.
Yeah, not like the Lola, which has been running as a Lotus with a Toyota engine badged as a Lotus. The Rebellion Squad, who run very well. But look at that. This is the Lotus customer car, which has been designed by a German consultancy, and it's going to be run by Colin Collis's father, who is called Romulus, I believe.
What?
Yeah, it's one of the first alien teams.
Romulus Collis?
Yeah,
As
great
in
name.
Remus, like, you know, Romulus.
Oh, hang on, is he called Remus or Romulus? He's one of the two, Romulus or Remus, I can't remember.
Okay.
But Colin's dad, Colin.
Well, Colin, I am Romulus, Lord of the Galaxy, and I shall sire an heir, and he shall be called Colin.
But if they run this car, it looks wicked, doesn't it? It looks great. It's in proper Lotus black with Lotus yellow and green on the side and no total or anything like that.
Hang on, so the engine in this is...
A Judd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has any part of that car ever been to Lotus or been touched by people who work for Lotus?
They've heard of it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
They've bought
At least
it. They've
heard
licensed
of
it.
it. Assuming they've checked their emails.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
It's silly, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, outsourcing is all very current, but Lotus are a car company.
Yeah.
Well,
It feels like they should be making this stuff themselves
More
if
to
they're
the
going
point,
to do it.
Yeah, and more to the point, they're a car company that has a tradition of engineering excellence and of engineering excellence in race cars. So if they're going to do more in motorsport, what you want to see them doing more of is making their own stuff, designing their own stuff, rather than putting their badge on other people's stuff.
It's just
absolutely.
poo, isn't it? It's just because if it's rubbish, they'll be able to go, well, it's not really ours anyway. I would just put our name on it. And if it's brilliant, they'll be going, well, of course, that's a Lotus. And it's like, well, you can't have it both ways.
Well, they suffered from this in IndyCar last year because they ran a car that was badged a Lotus, it's like all the other cars, was this Delara, and it had a Judd engine, probably the same engine, I don't know, which they had to withdraw from the series and are no longer supplying engines to the series because it was such an embarrassment compared to the excellence of the Honda and Chevrolet engines. Excellent, I use the term loosely. But it's
well, this is because
wrong,
I believe that the actress Ashley Judd is just slapping her name on any old products without any quality control. So Lotus, let this be a lesson to you.
I thought the engine was named after my ex girlfriend's dad, who was called Judd. Maybe it's just him.
Was that his first name?
Yeah, Judd.
Really?
Judd Heathcote. Good name, isn't it?
That's a good name.
Yeah, Judd Heathcote.
I shall fight Romulus Collis to the death for control of the universe, for I am Judd Heathcote.
Oh, stuff is... Decorum in the forum now. Before Christmas, we asked you guys to predict what what Michael Schumacher would not be saying in the 2013 season, and we had literally a dozen entries of some very high quality entries, in my opinion. The winner gets a Mercedes AMG Petronas or Mercedes-Benz hat. We've got two, one of each. So 2 winners, we don't know which one you're going to get. And an actual bit of an F1 car. Richard, you've got it in front of you
Got
there.
the box here, I'm going to open the box.
The box is being opened.
It's a nice box.
It is nice.
It comes with a certificate.
I was going to say it's sort of like a cigar box, but more of a sort of slim Pantella cigar. And it's nice, it's got a real bit of carbon fibre, but it has a certificate of authenticity in
What does
here.
it say?
It's a certificate of authenticity on behalf of the Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula 1 team. That bit was in capitals. So
You
I
had
thought
to
I would
say
try
that
and
right, yeah.
do it justice. I confirm that this piece of carbon fibre from the side pod of a 2011 MGP W02 is a genuine team item. Signed, Barry James, head of composites.
Barry James.
And Judd Heathcote, head of everything.
And
It doesn't say that, but we can write it on in
I
biro
will.
if you would like.
I will. I love the fact
It's
that
great.
it's mounted in sort of perspex.
It is,
isn't
and it's a bit raggy and kind
Yeah.
of, that makes it genuine because it is just all a bit scrappy when you look at it, but it's mounted within a nice bit of perspex.
It looks like it's done some work, and there it is.
Exactly, it's proper.
Yeah.
And you know it's proper because Barry James, the head of composites, says so.
Always been my favourite head of composites. Barry
He's the
James.
best head of composites.
So, the runner-up.
Reverse order?
Yeah, what is found? Oh, what is
I was going to say also, because it feels cruel in a way to read out runners-up and then say, well, we've read you out, but you're getting nothing. So I have got a stack of Stig biographies at home, popular piece of Top Gear merchandise, and I'll be honest, I can't get shot of them. So this is very much a booby prize, but I hope that you will appreciate it nonetheless, because I would make it very clear, you cannot send it back. So, for our runner-up, a copy of Stig, The Untold Story, in hardback as well, worth about £18, or slightly less on eBay.
So the runner-up who came up with this answer, Schumacher will not be saying next year, meaning this year. I now think the time is right to thank all my previous Ferrari teammates and their excellent support during my career. Their performances kept me honest.
And who was that?
That was Neil Halworth. Small round of applause for Neil Halworth.
Yay, Dill, runner-up, so you get nothing.
You get a Stig book.
I'm going to send
Which
him...
is apropos to nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Come on now. And the 2 winners are, with the statement what Schumacher won't be saying in 2013, yes, of course I'll be a race steward. Anthony Curry. That's just to be Schumacher as a race steward. Round of applause for Anthony Curry, our first winner for that, who gets a piece of a Mercedes F1 car, probably driven or crashed or disappointingly performed by Schumacher.
Breathed on by Schumacher, maybe?
The other winner in this, and he's the winner because of his simplicity in the answer. I think Schumacher won't be saying next season, sorry. Mark Sepek. Round of applause for Mark Sepek. Also Anthony Curry and our runner-up Neil Howard. Well done, you guys. You've been listening to Gareth Jones on Speed. He was Richard.
Goodbye.
He was Zog.
Goodbye.
What you didn't see was I pointed to the wrong people.
Yeah, that's right, there was
That's
a
why I
pause
didn't
because we
pull
were
you.
confused.
And I was
done.
Gareth. See you for the next.
Gareth Jones on Speed!
To send us an email, see pictures, get song lyrics, join our Facebook fan site, follow us on Twitter, or to find out about sponsorship opportunities, go to garethjones.tv. Gareth Jones on Speed is made in London by Whiz Bang.